The battle began at dawn, Earth Standard Time. Admiral Juan gave the order first. All ships, advance to attack formation. Target the Nexari command vessel. On the other side of the battlefield, Commander Jisoo responded immediately. All units. Defensive formation. Prepare to return fire. The space above Earth's moon erupted in violence. Energy beams lanced between the two fleets like deadly lightning. Missile swarms raced across the void, their nuclear warheads turning space bright with miniature suns. Both fleets had started cautiously, as their commanders agreed. Only the smaller ships engaged at first, testing each other's defenses and capabilities, but space battles have their own momentum. As ships took damage and crews died, caution gave way to anger. More vessels joined the fight. Larger weapons came online. The engagement escalated rapidly beyond anyone's control. Nexari cruiser Shadow is badly damaged, reported Colonel Rax. From the Corvin flagship, their shields are failing. Press the attack, Admiral Juan ordered. Bring up the heavy destroyers. On the Nexari flagship, the reports were equally grim. Corvin battleship Thunder has broken through our defensive line. They are targeting our supply ships. Deploy the assault squadrons, Commander Jisoo commanded. Drive them back. Within 2 hours, both fleets were fully engaged in the largest space battle the solar system had ever seen. Dozens of massive warships traded devastating fire while their smaller escorts darted between the giants like angry wasps. Neither side noticed the small human observation post on Luna Station, where Ambassador Taiho watched the battle through advanced telescopes. Such waste, he murmured to his aide, Director Suna. All those resources spent on destruction instead of creation. Should we begin the demonstration now? Suna asked. Not yet, Taiho replied calmly. Let them commit fully to the battle. Let them believe they are in complete control. The turning point came when Admiral Juan decided to risk his flagship in direct combat. The massive Corvin vessel Dominion moved forward, its main weapons charging for a killing blow against the Nexari command ship. All power to forward batteries, Juan ordered. Prepare to fire. At that moment, something impossible happened. The Dominion's weapon systems went offline. What? Juan demanded as his tactical displays went dark. Report! Sir, all weapon systems are non-responsive, Colonel Rax said in confusion. The power is there, but the targeting computers are not accepting. Commands. Switch to manual control? Manual systems are also offline, sir? It is as if the computers are ignoring our orders. Admiral Juan stared at his displays in disbelief. Around him, similar reports came from every ship in his fleet. Weapons that had been working perfectly moments before were now refusing to fire. On the Nexari flagship, Commander Jisoo faced the same problem. All ships report weapon malfunctions, her tactical officer announced. No one can engage their targeting systems. How is this possible? Jisoo demanded. These systems were tested hours ago. But the problems were just beginning. Navigation computers began guiding ships away from enemy targets, no matter what course their pilots tried to set. Communication systems started broadcasting each fleet's tactical plans to their enemies. Sensor arrays provided false readings that made accurate targeting impossible within minutes. 2 of the galaxy's most advanced battle fleets found themselves completely unable to fight each other. This cannot be coincidence, Admiral Juan growled, as his ship drifted helplessly away from the battle zone. Someone is doing this to us. That was when Ambassador Taiho's voice filled the communication channels of both fleets. Admiral Juan, Commander Jisoo, this is Luna Station. Please respond. Both commanders looked at their communication officers in surprise. The human was broadcasting on secure military frequencies that his primitive equipment should not have been able to access. How did he break into our communication network? Jisoo asked her officers. Unknown, Commander. Our encryption should be unbreakable by human technology. Admiral Juan activated his response channel with growing unease. Ambassador Taiho, what is the meaning of this transmission? I wanted to speak with both of you before this situation develops further, Taiho replied calmly. to offer you an opportunity to end this conflict peacefully. End it peacefully? Juan's voice was full of rage. Someone is sabotaging our ships. Our weapons will not fire. Our computers will not obey commands. Yes, Taiho said simply. No. A terrible silence fell over both fleets as the implications of those two words sank in. The human had just admitted that Earth was responsible for the system failures that had stopped the battle. Impossible, Commander Jisu whispered. Human technology could not interfere with our advanced systems. For decades you have watched us, Taiho continued, his voice carrying clearly to every ship in both fleets. You have catalogued our limitations and dismissed our capabilities. You have mistaken our patience for weakness, our cooperation for submission. Admiral Juan felt ice forming in his veins. The calm, measured tone of the human's voice was more terrifying than any battle cry. You have studied our primitive technology and concluded that we pose no threat to your superior civilizations, Taiho went on. You have placed monitoring stations in our space to watch us like children who need constant supervision. On screens. Throughout both fleets, the true scope of what was happening began to become clear. The primitive monitoring stations that aliens had installed to watch human activities were now displaying tactical information about alien ships. The inefficient human communication networks were coordinating the precise disruption of alien systems. Every cooperative gesture was an intelligence-gathering operation, Taiho explained. Every request for help was an opportunity to study your technology. Every technical problem our primitive equipment caused was actually a carefully planned demonstration of capabilities you never suspected we possessed. Commander Jisu stared at her sensor displays in growing horror. The readings showed that human installations throughout the solar system were actively controlling alien ship systems. Communication arrays that had appeared to be simple civilian equipment were actually sophisticated military control networks. The monitoring stations, she breathed. They were not watching us. We were watching them watch us while they learned everything about our technology. Indeed, Taiho confirmed. You gave us detailed access to your most advanced systems while believing you were sharing knowledge with primitive students. You showed us your weapons, your defenses, your communication protocols, your navigation systems. Admiral Juan's hands trembled with rage and fear. How long? How long have you been capable of this? We could have revealed this at any time, Taiho replied. We chose patience instead. We chose to give you the opportunity to coexist peacefully. That opportunity remains open, but our patience is not infinite. As if to demonstrate their complete control over the situation, the human systems began gently moving both alien fleets away from each other. Ships that had been locked in deadly combat minutes before found themselves being guided to opposite edges of the solar system by their own navigation computers. You cannot do this, Admiral Juan protested. We are sovereign vessels of the Corvan Empire. You are armed military forces conducting hostile operations in human space without permission, Taiho corrected calmly. By galactic law, we have the right to defend ourselves. Defend yourselves with what? Commander Jisu demanded. Where are your warships, your battle stations, your military forces? You are looking at them, Taiho replied. The terrible truth began to dawn on both alien commanders. They had been thinking of military power in terms of warships and weapons, but the humans had built something far more sophisticated. A network of control systems that could turn enemy technology against itself. Every monitoring station, every communication relay, every piece of primitive human equipment scattered throughout the solar system was actually part of a vast integrated defense network. The aliens had not been watching a weak species develop basic technology. They had been observing the construction of the most advanced military system in the galaxy. Your fleets are now under our control, Taiho continued. Your weapons cannot fire without our permission. Your ships cannot navigate without our guidance. Your communications pass through our networks. This is an act of war, Admiral Juan raged. No, Taiho said firmly. This is an act of defense. You brought military forces into our space. You began hostilities above our worlds. We are simply ensuring that those hostilities end without further bloodshed. Both alien fleets found themselves being escorted to the edge of the solar system by their own ships. Every attempt to regain control of their systems failed. Every effort to break free from human guidance was gently but firmly corrected. You have a choice, Taiho announced as the alien ships reached the boundary of human space. You can accept that Earth is capable of defending itself and return to peaceful relations. Or you can attempt further hostile actions and discover the full extent of our defensive capabilities. Admiral Wan and Commander Jisoo looked at their tactical displays with new understanding. The primitive human installations scattered throughout the solar system were not signs of a weak civilization learning to use basic technology. They were components of a defense network so advanced that it could control the most sophisticated alien military systems without. The border dispute had been growing for months. What started as a disagreement about mining rights between the Corvan Empire and the Nexari hegemony had become something much more dangerous. Admiral Huan stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion, watching the tactical displays with growing anger. The massive warship hung in space near the edge of human territory, its weapon systems powered and ready for battle. "Status report," he demanded from his tactical officer. "The Nexari fleet has moved 3 more battle groups into the disputed sector," Colonel Rax reported. "They now have 47 ships positioned along our border. And they claim this is just routine patrol activity," Juan growled. His red eyes glowed brighter when he was angry, and right now they blazed like small stars. The problem had started. With the joint survey operation that Ambassador Taiho had arranged months earlier, both empires had sent teams to explore the area, where humans claimed to have detected valuable deposits. They found nothing after 6 months of intensive searching with the most advanced equipment both empires possessed. The surveys had revealed only ordinary asteroids with minimal mineral content. The amazing deposits that human scanners had suggested were simply not there. Both sides blamed each other for the failure. The Corvans accused the Nexari of sabotaging the survey equipment. The Nexari claimed the Corvans had provided false data to waste their time and resources. The humans were wrong about those deposits, Commander Jisoo had told her superiors. But that does not explain why our equipment malfunctioned so often during the survey. Unless the Corvans were interfering with our systems, suggested her. Intelligence Officer. The mutual suspicion had grown week by week. Each side began to see hostile intent in every technical problem, every equipment failure, every communication glitch. The joint survey became a source of conflict rather than cooperation. Now both fleets faced each other across the border, weapons charged and shields raised, waiting for someone to make the first move. "Sir," Colonel Rax said carefully, "perhaps we should inform the Galactic Council of the situation." Admiral Huan made a dismissive sound. "The Council moves too slowly. By the time they organize a response, the Nexari will have claimed the entire sector." "What about the humans?" asked Navigation Officer Vel. "This is happening in their space. Should we not coordinate with them?" Huan looked out at the stars through the ship's main viewport. Somewhere in that direction was Earth, the small blue world that the galaxy saw as harmless and primitive. "The humans are irrelevant," he said finally. "Their space is barely defended. A few patrol ships and some mining platforms. They cannot affect the outcome of this dispute." What Admiral Huan did not know was that Captain Minho was already on his way to meet with him. The human diplomatic vessel Harmony was tiny compared to the Corvan flagship. It looked like a small shuttle next to a floating mountain. But it flew steadily toward the Corvan fleet, transmitting peaceful intentions and requesting permission to come aboard. "The human diplomat wants to speak with you," Colonel Rax reported. "Should I tell him you are busy?" Juan considered this. The humans had been useful mediators in the past, but this situation was beyond their ability to understand. Still, it might be interesting to see how they would react to real military tension. "Let him come aboard," Juan decided. "But make it clear that this is not a negotiation. We are simply informing him of the situation." An hour later, Captain Minho stood in the conference room of the Dominion. The room was designed to intimidate visitors, with dark metal walls covered in weapons displays and battle trophies from Corvan conquests. Minho seemed small and fragile in his simple blue uniform, but his expression was calm as always. "Admiral Juan," he said with a respectful bow. "Thank you for agreeing to see me." "Captain Minho," Juan replied, gesturing for the human to sit at the conference table. "I assume you are here about the border situation." "Yes," Minho said quietly. "Earth is concerned about the military buildup in our space. We hope that peaceful solutions can still be found." Juan leaned back in his command chair. "The time for peaceful solutions has passed. The Nexari have shown their true intentions. They want war, and we will give it to them." "War benefits no one," Minho said gently. "Surely there must be alternatives." "Easy words from someone whose people have never faced real threats," Juan replied with contempt. "The Corvan Empire has enemies who would destroy us if we showed weakness. We cannot afford to be peaceful when others choose aggression." Minho nodded thoughtfully. "I understand your position. But have you considered the costs of military action? Your fleets could be damaged. Your people could suffer casualties. Resources that could be used for building and growing would be spent on destruction. The costs of defeat would be worse," Juan said firmly. "If we let the Nexari take this territory, they will think we are weak. Other enemies will follow their example, perhaps," Minho said carefully. "But what if there were other ways to demonstrate strength? Ways that did not require bloodshed?" Admiral Juan studied the human across the table. Minho's words sounded like the typical weakness that humans always showed when faced with serious conflict, but something in the human's tone made Juan pause. There was a quality in Minho's voice that he had not heard before, not fear or desperation, but something else. Something that sounded almost like warning? "What are you suggesting?" Juan asked. "I am suggesting that you might want to reconsider your assumptions about this situation," Minho replied quietly. "About the balance of power. About who has advantages and who has weaknesses." "Explain," Juan demanded, his red eyes narrowing. Minho was silent for a long moment, as if choosing his words very carefully. When he spoke, his voice was still quiet, but there was something in it that made Admiral Juan listen more intently. "We have been patient for so long," Minho said. "Patient with the restrictions placed on our space travel. Patient with the monitoring stations watching our every move. Patient with the mining operations that take our resources. Patient with being treated as children who need constant supervision." Juan frowned. This did not sound like the submissive human he was used to dealing with. "Your point?" he asked. "My point," Minho continued, "is that patience should not be mistaken for inability. Earth has accepted these limitations because we chose to accept them, not because we had no other choice." A chill ran down Admiral Juan's spine. The way Minho spoke those words, there was steel in them. Not the desperate bravado of a weak species trying to sound strong, but the quiet confidence of someone who knew exactly what they were capable of. "Are you threatening me?" Juan asked, his voice dangerous, but Minho shook his head. "Not threatening, warning. There is a difference." "Warning me of what?" "That starting a war in human space might have consequences you have not considered," Minho replied. "That the humans you have dismissed as primitive and harmless might not be as powerless as you believe?" Admiral Juan felt a strange sensation he had not experienced in years: uncertainty. The human was not acting like humans were supposed to act. There was no begging, no fear, no desperate appeals for protection from superior alien civilizations. Instead, there was something that looked remarkably like quiet confidence. "You cannot be serious," Juan said, but his voice lacked its usual conviction. "Human military capabilities are negligible. Your ships are slow, your weapons are primitive, your defenses are minimal, are they?" Minho asked softly. The question hung in the air between them. Admiral Juan found himself staring at the human diplomat with new eyes. For months he had seen Minho as a harmless representative of a weak species. Now, suddenly, he was not so sure. "What are you not telling me?" Juan demanded. Minho stood up slowly, his movements calm and deliberate. I am telling you exactly what I came here to tell you. That Earth hopes you will reconsider starting a war in our space. That it would be unfortunate if decades of patience were mistaken for weakness. And if we proceed anyway? Minho walked to the conference room's viewport and looked out at the Corvan fleet. Dozens of massive warships hung in space, their weapon systems ready for battle. Each ship was larger and more heavily armed than anything in Earth's official navy. Then you will learn the difference between patience and fragility, Minho said quietly. After the human left, Admiral Juan sat alone in his conference room for a long time. Something about the conversation troubled him, but he could not identify exactly what it was. Sir? Colonel Rax entered the room cautiously. Are there any changes to our battle plans? Juan considered the question. The rational part of his mind said that nothing had changed. The humans were still a primitive species with minimal military capability. Their diplomat's words were probably just desperate bluffing, but something in Minho's tone, in his confident manner, in the way he had looked at the Corvan fleet without any visible fear, no changes, Juan said finally, but increased sensor sweeps of the surrounding area. I want to know about every ship, every station, every piece of debris within a light hour of our position. Yes, sir? Any particular reason? The official request came through diplomatic channels 3 months after the Zarian crisis. The Galactic Council wanted to conduct a comprehensive survey of human industrial capabilities. They want to help us improve our manufacturing processes, Captain Minho explained to the secret council meeting deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Juan specifically requested access to our production facilities. General Kang frowned at the reports on his screen. What is their real purpose? Intelligence gathering, replied Director Park from Earth's Strategic Analysis Division. They want to understand our true industrial capacity. They are probably worried that we might be stronger than we appear. Are they suspicious? Asked Admiral Chun. Not exactly suspicious, Minho said carefully. More like curious. The Zarian incident made some of them think that humans might have hidden capabilities. General Kang considered this. How do we handle it? We give them exactly what they expect to see, Director Park suggested. Primitive but functional technology. Nothing that would challenge their assumptions about our capabilities. And we learn everything we can about their technology in the process? Admiral Chun added. If they want to inspect our facilities, we should ask to observe their inspection methods. 2 weeks later, the alien inspection team arrived at Earth. Chief Engineer Do Yun met them at the orbital space dock with a warm smile and humble manner. Welcome to Earth, he said with a deep bow. We are honored that such advanced civilizations want to help improve our simple manufacturing processes. The inspection team was led by Technical Advisor Vex from the Zephyrian Trade Consortium. With his golden shell and multiple eyes, he looked like a giant crab wearing a business suit. Behind him came engineers from 6 different alien races, each representing a different aspect of advanced manufacturing. We are here to assess your current capabilities, Vex announced in his clicking voice. The Council wants to determine how much assistance Earth requires to reach galactic standard production levels. We appreciate any help you can give us, Do Yun replied humbly. Our technology is very basic compared to yours. The first stop was the Detroit Manufacturing Complex, one of Earth's largest industrial centers. The facility looked exactly like what the aliens expected to see, large, noisy factories with relatively simple machinery producing basic goods. This is our main production facility for civilian vehicles, Do Yun explained as they walked through the factory floor. We can produce about 5,000 units per month. Technical Advisor Vex examined the assembly lines with his multiple eyes. Very primitive, he noted. Our smallest facilities produce 10 times this amount with half the workforce. We know. Our methods are inefficient, Do Yun agreed sadly. We hope to learn better techniques from observing your advanced systems. The alien engineers took detailed scans of everything they saw. They measured production rates, analyzed material composition, and studied the manufacturing processes. Everything confirmed their expectations of primitive human technology. What they did not notice were the subtle details that told a different story. The human workers moved with precision that suggested much more advanced training than their simple tools would require. The primitive machinery produced goods with tolerances that should have been impossible without more sophisticated equipment. The factory's power consumption was far lower than it should have been for the production levels. They observed. "Your quality control seems quite good for such basic equipment," observed Engineer Krill from the Andraxian Collective. Her metallic body sparkled as she examined finished products. "We work very carefully," Do-Yun explained. "Humans are good at detailed work, even if our tools are simple." "What about your raw material processing?" asked scientist Mora from the Veltian Federation. "Where do you refine your metals and composites?" "Oh, we import most of our advanced materials from off-world suppliers," Do-Yun replied. "We do have some basic refining facilities, but they are not very sophisticated." He led them to what appeared to be a standard metal processing plant. The aliens saw exactly what they expected: large furnaces, basic chemical baths, and simple purification systems that produced materials of adequate but unremarkable quality. The inspection team spent 3 days examining Earth's primitive manufacturing capabilities. They toured automobile factories, electronics plants, textile mills, and food processing centers. Everything they saw confirmed that human technology was several centuries behind galactic standards. "Your people work hard," Technical Advisor Vex told Do-Yun at the end of the inspection. "But your equipment is holding you back. With proper technology, you could increase production by thousands of %." "That would be wonderful," Do-Yun replied eagerly. "Could you show us some examples of your advanced manufacturing methods?" The aliens were happy to demonstrate their superior technology. They set up displays of their scanning equipment, materials analysis tools, and production optimization systems. "This molecular assembler can create any component we need," Vex explained proudly, showing off a device that looked like a crystal sculpture. "It arranges atoms one by one to build perfect materials." "Amazing," Do-Yun breathed, examining the assembler with obvious awe. "How does it work?" For the next 2 hours, Vex explained the principles of molecular assembly, quantum field manipulation, and atomic-level manufacturing control. He was so pleased to show off advanced alien technology to primitive humans that he provided detailed technical specifications for equipment that normally required highest-level security. Clearance to access. Similar demonstrations took place throughout the week. Each alien engineer wanted to impress the humans with their civilization's technological superiority. They explained advanced concepts, showed detailed schematics, and even allowed human observers to operate some of their equipment. "This gravitic forge can shape any material without applying physical force," Engineer Krill demonstrated. "Watch how it forms this titanium alloy into a complex shape using only controlled gravity fields." "Incredible," Do-Yun said, carefully observing every detail of the process. "Could a human learn to operate such advanced equipment?" "With extensive training, perhaps," Krill replied condescendingly, "though it would take your people many years to understand the underlying principles." What the aliens did not know was that Do-Yun was one of Earth's leading experts in advanced manufacturing technology. Every demonstration they gave him revealed secrets that human scientists had been trying to discover for years. The primitive factories they had inspected were actually fronts that concealed Earth's real manufacturing capabilities. Hidden beneath the ocean floors and inside asteroid mining operations, human industry was far more advanced than the aliens suspected. In the underwater facility beneath the Mariana Trench, Chief Engineer Yoon studied the technical data that Do-Yun had secretly recorded during the alien demonstrations. "This is incredible," she told her research team. "They showed us complete specifications for quantum-level manufacturing systems. Do you realize what this means?" "We can reverse engineer their most advanced production methods," replied her assistant, Dr. Hana. "More than that," Yoon said excitedly. "We can improve on their designs. Look at this molecular assembler. They are using inefficient quantum field generators. Our magnetic containment system would be much more stable. Similar analysis sessions took place in secret research facilities around the world. Earth scientists were not trying to copy alien technology. They were learning how to build better versions of it. The aliens had made a critical mistake. They assumed that primitive humans would not understand advanced concepts well enough to steal or improve upon alien technology. So they felt safe demonstrating their most sophisticated equipment to human observers. In reality, human technology was already approaching their level in many areas. The alien demonstrations provided the final pieces of information that Earth scientists needed to surpass galactic standards. Technical advisor Vex completed his report to the Galactic Council with satisfaction. Human manufacturing is exactly as primitive as we expected, he wrote. Their production capacity is limited by outdated equipment and inefficient processes. They pose no economic threat to established galactic industries. However, he continued, the humans show remarkable enthusiasm for learning advanced techniques. With proper guidance and technology sharing, they could become valuable junior partners in galactic manufacturing networks. The Council approved plans to provide limited technology transfers to Earth. They would give humans just enough advanced equipment to make them useful suppliers of basic goods, but not enough to compete with alien industries. We will help them develop their capabilities gradually, the Council leader announced. In a few hundred years, they might reach the level of a minor industrial power. What the Council did not know was that Earth's hidden manufacturing facilities were already producing goods that exceeded galactic standards. Human engineers had used the alien demonstrations to identify weaknesses in alien technology and develop superior alternatives. The molecular assemblers that Vex had demonstrated so proudly were already obsolete compared to the quantum fabrication systems that humans were building in secret. The gravitic forges that impressed human observers were less efficient than the field manipulation devices hidden in Earth's. The emergency alert reached the Galactic Council at dawn, Galactic Standard Time. Planet Zarian, home to 12 billion beings, was dying. Council leader Vortex Light pulsed with urgency as he addressed the emergency session. The plague began. 3 weeks ago, Zarian's medical systems cannot stop it. Their population is dropping by millions each day. Admiral Juan studied the reports from his command chair. What kind of plague? Unknown pathogen, replied Dr. Zelfin from the medical advisory board. She was a tall, thin alien with blue skin and 6 arms, each ending in delicate surgical tools. It attacks the nervous system of most carbon-based life forms. The Zarionians have tried every treatment they know. Commander Jisoo leaned forward. What about our medical technologies? Surely the advanced races can develop a cure. Dr. Zelfin's expression was grim. We have been trying for 2 weeks. The pathogen adapts faster than we can develop treatments. Every time we create a cure, the disease changes and becomes resistant. The council chamber filled with worried murmurs. If this plague could not be stopped, it might spread to other worlds. Even advanced alien civilizations could be at risk. How long before the Zarionians are extinct? Asked Counselor Nex. At current rates, 6 to 8 weeks, Dr. Zelfin replied. We must evacuate as many as possible, suggested Elder Voth from the Celestial Assembly. Impossible, Admiral Juan said immediately. Moving 12 billion beings would take years, even with our entire fleet. Besides, we cannot risk spreading the plague to other worlds. The debate continued for hours. Every solution had problems. Evacuation was too slow. Quarantine would mean letting billions die. Medical research was not progressing fast enough. Then Captain Minho requested permission to speak. The council leader's light flickered in surprise. The human representative rarely spoke during council sessions. Yes, Captain Minho. Earth would like to offer assistance, Minho said quietly. We know our medical technology is primitive compared to yours, but perhaps we could observe and learn from your research efforts. Admiral Juan made a dismissive sound. Human medicine is centuries behind ours. How could you possibly help? We cannot, Minho admitted. But our doctors have different training and perspectives. Sometimes a fresh viewpoint can be valuable, even from less advanced observers. Dr. Zelfin considered this. It cannot hurt to have additional researchers, even primitive ones. Perhaps they will notice something we have missed. Very well, the council leader decided. Earth may send a small medical team to observe, but they must not interfere with our research efforts. Understood, Minho replied. We will send Dr. Junho and a small support team. They will work under your supervision. 2 days later, Dr. Junho's ship arrived at Zarian. The planet looked sick from space. Its normally green continents were turning brown as the plague killed plant life along with animal life. Cities that once glowed with light were going dark as their populations died. Dr. Junho was a middle-aged man with tired eyes and gentle hands. He had spent his career studying diseases that affected humans, but he had never seen anything like this plague. The alien medical station orbiting Zarian was like a floating city dedicated to research. Thousands of the galaxy's best doctors and scientists worked day and night trying to find a cure. Welcome to Research Station Alpha, Dr. Zelfin greeted Junho when he arrived. I will show you our facilities and explain what we have learned so far. The tour was impressive. The aliens had medical equipment that looked like magic to human eyes. Machines that could analyze diseases at the molecular level. Computers that could simulate treatments before testing them. Laboratories that could create new medicines in hours instead of months. Your technology is amazing, Junho said with genuine admiration. How does the pathogen resist such advanced treatments? See for yourself, Dr. Zelfin replied, leading him to a viewing screen. The image showed the plague virus magnified millions of times. It looked like a twisted crystal that constantly changed shape. Every time we attack it, the virus changes its structure, she explained. We create a treatment that works, but within hours the virus adapts and becomes immune. Junho studied the changing patterns. How fast does it adapt? Faster than we can develop new treatments. We need at least 12 hours to create and test each new cure. The virus adapts in 6 hours or less. What about combination treatments? Junho asked, multiple approaches at once? We tried that. The virus adapts to all of them simultaneously. Junho nodded thoughtfully. To the watching aliens, he looked like a primitive doctor trying to understand advanced concepts beyond his education. In reality, Dr. Junho was one of Earth's most skilled biological warfare experts. He had been trained to deal with adaptive pathogens that changed faster than traditional medicine could handle. Could I examine some tissue samples? He asked. I would like to observe the virus behavior patterns for myself. Of course, Dr. Zelfin agreed. Though I doubt you will see anything we have missed. Junho spent the next 2 days in the research laboratories, appearing to study the virus samples with basic human equipment. The alien doctors were polite but clearly thought his primitive analysis methods were useless. What they did not know was that Junho's primitive equipment included several pieces of advanced human technology disguised to look simple. His scanners could analyze the virus at quantum levels. His computers could process adaptation patterns in ways that alien technology could not match. On the 3rd day, Junho made his announcement. I think I might have found something, he told Dr. Zelfin quietly. But please understand, this is probably wrong. Human analysis is not very sophisticated. Dr. Zelfin looked at his data with polite interest that quickly turned to surprise. What is this pattern you have identified? The virus does not really adapt randomly, Junho explained. It follows a specific sequence of changes, like a puzzle, with only certain possible solutions. That is impossible, Dr. Zelfin said. We have observed completely random adaptations. I know it seems that way, Junho replied humbly. But if you look at the changes over longer time periods, there is a pattern. The virus can only adapt in certain ways. Dr. Zelfin studied Junho's analysis for several hours. Her excitement grew as she understood what the human was suggesting. If you are correct, she said finally, then we could predict the virus's next adaptation and prepare treatments in advance. Maybe, Junho said cautiously, though I could be completely wrong about this. Human pattern recognition is not very reliable compared to your advanced analysis systems. Dr. Zelfin immediately shared Junho's findings with the rest of the research team. The alien doctors were skeptical at first, but the pattern held up. Under detailed analysis, within 6 hours, they had developed a treatment strategy based on Junho's pattern recognition. Instead of reacting to the virus's changes, they prepared multiple treatments for all the possible adaptations the virus could make. The strategy worked. For the first time since the plague began, the alien doctors successfully treated infected patients. The virus tried to adapt, but no matter which direction it changed, there was already a treatment waiting for it. Remarkable, Dr. Zelfin exclaimed. The human's pattern recognition was correct. We can cure this plague. Word of the breakthrough spread quickly through the medical station. Within days, enough cure had been produced to begin treating the population of XER Ion. Dr. Zelfin made sure that Junho received recognition for his contribution. The human doctor's fresh perspective was valuable, she reported to the Galactic Council. His primitive pattern recognition methods noticed something our advanced systems missed. Interesting, the council leader replied. Perhaps less advanced viewpoints have some value after all. Admiral Juan was less impressed. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. The human got lucky. But throughout the medical station, alien doctors began to see humans differently. Dr. Junho had solved a problem that their advanced technology could not handle. How did you see the pattern when we could not? Dr. Zelfin asked Junho privately. Humans think differently than other species, Junho replied modestly. We are not very smart, but sometimes our simple minds notice simple things that complex minds overlook. This explanation satisfied the aliens. It confirmed their belief that humans were primitive but occasionally useful in unexpected ways. Dr. Zelfin did not know that Junho's simple pattern recognition was actually the result of advanced human research into adaptive biological weapons. Earth's military had spent decades studying pathogens that could change and evolve rapidly. The plague on Zarian was similar to biological weapons that human scientists had learned to counter years ago. To Dr. Junho, the virus's adaptation pattern was familiar and predictable, but the aliens saw only a lucky guess by a primitive doctor who happened to notice something they had missed. As Junho prepared to return to Earth, Dr. Zelfin gave him copies of all the medical research data from the project. Take this back to your people, she said. Perhaps human doctors can learn something useful from our advanced techniques. Thank you, Junho replied gratefully. We always appreciate the chance to learn from more advanced civilizations. The aliens thought they were sharing advanced knowledge with a primitive species that might benefit from exposure to superior technology. In reality, they had just given Earth complete technical specifications for. Luna Station hung in space like a silver flower, its rotating sections catching Earth's light as the planet turned below. The station had been built by humans as a meeting place for diplomatic talks, but now it served a much more important purpose. Ambassador Taiho walked through the main conference hall, checking the preparations for today's peace talks. The hall was large and round, with sections designed to accommodate different alien species. Some needed special atmosphere controls. Others required different gravity settings. Everything ready? Asked his assistant, Director Suna. As ready as we can make it, Taiho replied. He was a tall man with graying hair and calm eyes that missed nothing. He had been chosen for this job because he was very good at understanding what people wanted, even when they did not say it directly. Today's meeting was supposed to solve a growing problem. The Corvan Empire and the Nixari hegemony were arguing about mining rights near Jupiter. Both sides claimed the same asteroids, and their mining fleets were getting closer to actual fighting. The Galactic Council had asked Earth to host peace talks because humans were considered neutral. Neither alien empire saw humanity as a threat, so both sides trusted human mediation. The Corvan delegation is arriving now, Suna reported, watching her screens. Admiral Juan is leading them personally. Through the large windows, Taiho could see the Corvan warships approaching the station. They were massive vessels that looked like floating mountains made of dark metal and weapons. Even their escort ships were larger than Earth's biggest warships. "And the Nexari?" Taiho asked. "Commander Jisoo is bringing their negotiation team. They should arrive in 20 minutes. Taiho nodded. He had been studying both alien races for months, learning their cultures, their weaknesses, and most importantly, their fears. Today he would use that knowledge to prevent a war while serving. Earth's interest, the first to arrive, was Admiral Juan. He entered the conference hall like a storm cloud, his red eyes glowing with anger. Behind him came 6 other Corvan officers, all looking ready for battle rather than negotiation. "Ambassador Taiho," Juan said with a slight bow, "we appreciate Earth's offer to host these talks. But I warn you, the Nexari have stolen mining rights that belong to us. There may be nothing to negotiate." "I understand your concerns," Taiho replied calmly. "Please, make yourselves comfortable." "Can we offer you anything? Food? Drink?" "Nothing," Juan said. "We want to finish this quickly." 20 minutes later, Commander Jisoo arrived with her team. The Nexari looked much more diplomatic than the Corvans, but Taiho could see the tension in their silver faces. "Commander Jisoo," Taiho greeted her, "welcome to Luna Station. I hope we can find a peaceful solution to this disagreement." "So do we," Jisoo replied, though the Corvans seemed more interested in threats than in negotiation. Admiral Juan's eyes flared brighter. "We do not make threats, we state facts. Those asteroids were claimed by a Corvan survey team 6 months ago, after we had already begun mining operations there," Jisoo responded coolly. "Nexari law clearly states that active mining takes priority over survey claims." "Corvan law says the opposite," Juan growled. Taiho raised his hands for silence. "Please, let us sit down and discuss this properly. I am sure we can find a solution that respects both of your legal traditions." For the next hour, both sides argued about their legal claims. Each empire had different laws about mining rights. Each side was completely convinced that they were right and the other side was wrong. Taiho listened carefully to everything they said. He asked questions that seemed simple, but actually revealed important information about both empires' real concerns. "Admiral Juan, how important are these particular asteroids to the Corvan Empire?" he asked. "Very important," Juan replied. "They contain rare metals we need for ship construction." "And Commander Jisoo, how much has the Nexari hegemony already invested in mining equipment there?" "Significant amounts," Jisoo said. "Our mining platforms are already in place and operational." As the discussion continued, Taiho began to understand the real problem. Both empires needed the resources from those asteroids, but they also needed to show strength to their own people. Neither side could afford to look weak by backing down. "Perhaps," Taiho suggested carefully, "we could explore some creative solutions. What if the mining area was divided into sections?" "Impossible," Juan said immediately. "The richest deposits are all in one location. Division would not work." "What if one empire took the current deposits while the other got first rights to newly discovered areas?" Taiho suggested. "How do we know there will be new discoveries?" Jisoo asked suspiciously. Taiho smiled slightly. "Well, human survey teams have been studying that asteroid field for some time. We have noticed some interesting formations that might contain valuable deposits. Of course, our survey technology is not as advanced as yours, so we could be wrong." This got both aliens' attention immediately. "What kind of formations?" Juan demanded. "What deposits might be there?" Jisoo asked at the same time. "Oh, I should not say too much," Taiho replied modestly. "Our data is probably not very accurate, but we detected what looked like concentrated deposits of ultra-heavy elements, about 50,000 kilometers from the current mining area, both." Alien delegations went quiet. Ultra-heavy elements were incredibly valuable and very rare. If there really was a deposit of them, it would be worth far more than the current mining sites. "Could you show us this survey data?" Juan asked, trying to sound casual. "Of course," Taiho said. "Though, as I said, human scanning technology is quite primitive. You would want to verify our findings with your own equipment." Taiho had director. Suna bring in the survey reports. The data looked genuine because it was genuine, mostly. Human survey teams had indeed found interesting formations in that area. The formations just did not contain what the reports suggested they might contain. As both alien teams studied the data, Taiho could see their minds working. Each side was thinking the same thing. If they could get exclusive rights to survey the new area, they might find deposits far more valuable than what they were currently fighting over. This is very interesting, Commander Jisoo said carefully. If these deposits exist, they would change the entire situation. Indeed, Admiral Huan agreed. Both our empires would benefit from proper exploration of this area. Taiho watched them with innocent eyes. I am glad the data is helpful. Of course, the Galactic Council would need to approve any new mining claims in that area. This reminded both sides that they were still operating under Galactic Council rules. They could not just grab new territory without proper legal procedures. Perhaps, Taiho continued thoughtfully, a joint survey expedition would be the best approach. Both empires could contribute resources and share any discoveries. Joint operations with the Corvins? Jisoo asked with distaste. Cooperation with the Nexari? Huan said with equal disgust. Just a thought, Taiho said mildly. Of course, if you prefer to continue fighting over the current sites while these new deposits remain unexplored. He let the sentence hang in the air. Both alien commanders could see the logic clearly. They could waste time and resources fighting over known deposits, or they could work together to find much larger treasures. But neither side trusted the other enough for real cooperation. What if Earth supervised the joint survey? Taiho suggested. We are neutral in this dispute. We could make sure both sides get fair treatment. Admiral Huan and Commander Jisoo looked at each other with suspicion. They did not trust each other, but they both trusted the weak, harmless humans. The humans have no stake in our dispute, Jisoo said slowly. And their technology is too primitive for them to steal what we discover. Huan added. After several more hours of negotiation, they reached an agreement. The Corvan Empire would get the current mining sites for 6 months. After that, the Nexari hegemony would take over operations there. Meanwhile, both empires would fund a joint survey of the new area, with Earth providing neutral supervision. An excellent compromise, Taiho said as both sides signed the agreement. I am sure this will lead to benefits for everyone. After the alien delegations left, Director Suna joined Taiho in his private office. That was masterful, she said. You got them to stop fighting and agree to explore an area where we know there is nothing valuable? The survey will keep them busy for months, Taiho agreed. And while they are distracted by their treasure hunt, they will not be paying attention to what we are really doing. The intelligence value alone makes this worthwhile, Suna observed. Having both empires' survey teams working in our space will give us detailed information about their scanning technologies and exploration methods? Taiho nodded. Plus, the joint operation will create tensions between them. The Covens and Nexari hate working together. They will spend more energy watching each other than watching us. In her hidden office deep beneath Luna Station Intelligence, Analyst Suna began preparing detailed reports on everything she had learned during the peace talks. Her official job was helping with diplomatic protocols. Her real job was studying alien psychology and political structures. She had recordings of every conversation, detailed behavioral analysis of both alien commanders, and complete technical specifications of their ships and equipment. All of this information would be invaluable for Earth's long-term planning. Subject Huan shows classic. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was full of activity. Giant alien mining ships moved slowly through the field of rocks, their massive drilling arms reaching out to tear valuable metals from the floating stones. The Zephyrian Trade Consortium had been given permission by the Galactic Council to mine in human space. The Zephyrians looked like giant crabs with golden shells and many eyes on stalks. They were known throughout the galaxy as excellent miners and traders. Captain Vex commanded the lead mining ship. He watched his crews work with satisfaction. The humans had been forced to share their mining rights, and the asteroids here contained some of the richest deposits he had ever seen. "How much have we collected today?" he asked his first officer. 12 tons of rare titanium alloy, came the reply. Also 5 tons of platinum and 3 tons of neutronium crystals? The humans were fools to mine so slowly here. Captain Vex clicked his claws together happily. "At this rate, we will fill our cargo holds in 2 weeks instead of 2 months. But then something went wrong. Captain, we are losing communication." "With Mining Unit 7, reported the communications officer. "Their signals just stopped." "Mechanical failure, probably," Vex said. "Send a repair crew." An hour later, the repair crew returned with bad news. "Sir, their communication array was damaged by space debris. A small meteorite hit it at just the wrong angle. How long to fix it?" 6 hours, sir." Captain Vex was annoyed but not worried. These things happened in space mining operations. But the next day, Mining Unit 3 had a similar problem. And the day after that, Mining Unit 12 lost power to its drilling systems when a tiny asteroid fragment damaged their power cables. "This is happening too often," Vex told his officers. "Space debris should not cause this many problems." That was when Engineer Kyung arrived. Kyung was a human who worked for the Solar Maintenance Corporation. His job was to keep the communication satellites and navigation beacons working properly throughout the solar system. He was a small, quiet man who wore a simple work suit and carried basic repair tools. "I heard you were having communication problems," Kyung said when he contacted Captain Vex. "My company maintains all the satellites in this area. We can help fix the interference." "What interference?" Vex asked. "We are having equipment failures, not interference." "Oh," Kyung sighed, looking at his handheld scanner. "According to our readings, there is some kind of signal disruption affecting this whole sector. It might be causing your equipment to malfunction." Captain Vex did not understand how signal interference could cause meteorites to hit his ships. But he was desperate to get his mining operation back on schedule. "Fine," he said. "Do whatever you need to do." Kyung and his small team of human technicians spread out through the asteroid field. They said they were adjusting the communication satellites to reduce interference. They worked quickly and efficiently, finishing their repairs in just 2 days. "All done," Kyung reported to Captain Vex. "Your communication problems should be solved now." Captain Vex tested his systems and found that everything was working perfectly again. "Thank you," he said. "Send us your bill for the repair work." "No charge," Kyung replied. "We are happy to help. The Galactic Council wants us to cooperate with all mining operations in our space." After the human repair team left, Captain Vex tried to resume normal mining operations. But now he had a different problem. His mining units could not coordinate with each other anymore. Unit 7 would start drilling, but Unit 3 could not receive the signal to begin support operations. Unit 12 would locate a rich deposit, but the navigation data would not reach the transport ships. Each individual system worked perfectly. But somehow, the different parts of the mining operation could not talk to each other properly. "What is happening?" Captain Vex demanded. "The humans fixed our communication systems, but now we cannot coordinate our work." His technical officer studied the problem for hours. "Sir, I think I understand. The human repairs changed the frequency bands that our equipment uses. Now our mining units are on different channels and cannot coordinate automatically. Can you fix it?" "Yes, but it will take several days to reprogram all the equipment." While the Zephyrians struggled to fix their coordination problems, similar incidents happened to other alien operations throughout the solar system. The Andraxian Collective was building a large processing station near Jupiter. They needed to position several construction modules in exactly the right places. But every time they moved a module into position, the navigation computers would develop small glitches that moved it slightly off course. The individual errors were tiny, just a few meters here and there. But in space construction, precision was critical. The modules would not fit together properly when they were even slightly misaligned. Human technician Laura arrived to help with this problem too. She was an expert in orbital mechanics and navigation systems. I think your navigation computers are being affected by Jupiter's magnetic field, she explained to the Andraxian construction manager. We see this problem sometimes with human equipment too. How do you solve it? The manager asked. We use shielding and filtering systems, Bora replied. I can install some on your computers if you want. The Andraxian manager agreed, and Bora spent several days working on their navigation systems. When she finished, the computers worked much better, but only when they were used one at a time. There seems to be some kind of interference between multiple units, Bora explained apologetically. Each computer works perfectly by itself, but when you try to use several together, they interfere with each other. But we need to use multiple computers to coordinate the construction, the manager protested. I know, Bora said sadly. I am sorry. Human technology is not advanced enough to solve this problem completely. Maybe your engineers can find a better solution. The Andraxian manager was frustrated, but he could not blame the human. She had done her best to help with primitive human technology. Similar problems affected alien operations throughout human space. Transport ships would develop engine problems that forced them to take longer routes. Processing facilities would have power fluctuations that slowed down production. Communication networks would work perfectly for local messages but develop delays. When sending data across long distances, in every case, human technicians arrived quickly to help. They worked hard and seemed genuinely concerned about the problems. But somehow, their repairs always seemed to create new complications. I do not understand it, Admiral Juan said during a meeting with other alien commanders. The humans are trying to help us, but their technology is so primitive that they make things worse. Perhaps we should bring in our own technicians, suggested Commander Zara from the Veltian Federation. That would take months, replied Captain Vex. Our technicians are all working on other projects. Besides, the problems are small, annoying, but not dangerous. The humans seem to know their own space very well, Admiral Juan observed. Maybe we should rely on them for technical support until we can bring our own people. This was exactly what the humans had hoped the aliens would think. In the hidden command center under Earth's Pacific Ocean, General Kang watched reports of alien operations throughout the solar system. Every alien mining ship, construction project, and transport route was marked on his displays. Status report, he requested. Operation Slowdown is proceeding perfectly, reported Colonel Kim. Alien mining efficiency is down 40%. Construction projects are running 3 weeks behind schedule. Transport costs have increased by 60% due to routing problems. Any complaints from the aliens? They are frustrated, but they blame technical difficulties rather than sabotage, Colonel Kim replied. Our repair teams continue to maintain their cover as helpful but incompetent technicians. What about the Galactic Council? Are they suspicious? No, sir. The aliens report that humans are cooperating fully, but that human technology is too primitive to provide effective support. This matches their expectations of our capabilities. General Kong smiled. The plan was working perfectly. The aliens thought they were dealing with well-meaning but incompetent humans who were trying their best to help with primitive technology. They had no idea that every technical problem had been carefully designed and precisely implemented. Human engineers had studied alien systems for months, learning exactly how to disrupt them in ways that would look like accidents or technical limitations. Engineer Kyung returned to his hidden workshop after completing another repair mission. His official job was maintaining communication satellites. His real job was disrupting alien coordination systems without being detected. How did the Zephyrian operation go? His supervisor asked. Perfect, Kyung replied. Their mining units can communicate individually, but they cannot coordinate group operations anymore. They think it is a technical limitation of their equipment. And they do not suspect sabotage? Not at all. I even gave them some suggestions for how they might fix the problem. Of course, those suggestions will not work, but it makes me look like I'm trying to help. Similar conversations took place in secret facilities throughout the solar system. Hundreds of human technicians were working to subtly disrupt alien operations while maintaining the appearance of helpful cooperation. The aliens saw these disruptions as proof that human. 3 months had passed since the council meeting. Space around Earth now looked very different. Large alien structures floated near human colonies and space stations. These were the monitoring posts that the Galactic Council had demanded, Commander. Jisoo stood on the bridge of the largest monitoring station. She belonged to the Nexari hegemony, a race of beings that looked like tall humans but with silver skin and black eyes. The Nexari were known throughout the galaxy for being excellent watchers and spies. "Report on human activities," Jisoo ordered her crew. Lieutenant Kex looked at his screens filled with data. "The humans continue their normal routines, Commander. They mine asteroids at a slow pace. Their ships follow the approved travel routes. No signs of military buildup." Jisoo nodded. This was what she expected to hear. The humans were behaving exactly like a controlled species should behave. "What about their technology development?" she asked. "Very basic progress," Kex replied. "They are working on improving their ship engines, but the improvements are small. At this rate, it will take them hundreds of years to match our slowest ships." Through the large windows of the station, Jisoo could see Earth spinning slowly in the distance. It looked peaceful and quiet. Small human ships moved between the planet and its moon like busy insects. On Earth, Dr. Yuna worked in her office at the Xenological Institute. This was the human organization that studied alien life and culture. Her job was to help the aliens understand humanity better. A message came through on her communication device. "Dr. Yuna, the Nexari monitoring team, requests another meeting." "Of course," Yuna replied. "Please tell them I am always happy to help." An hour later, Commander Jisoo and two of her officers sat in Yuna's small office. The human woman served them tea in simple cups. She was short and had long black hair tied back in a neat style. "Thank you for meeting with us again," Jisoo said. "We want to make sure we understand human behavior correctly." "I am glad to help," Yuna said with a smile. "What would you like to know?" "Your people seem very calm about our presence," Jisoo observed. "Most species react with fear or anger when they are monitored. Humans act like we are welcome guests." Yuna poured more tea for her alien visitors. "We understand that you are more advanced than we are. We know you are here to help us learn how to behave properly in the galaxy. Why would we be angry about that?" Jisoo exchanged glances with her officers. This was exactly the kind of response they expected from a weak, submissive species. "We notice that humans often ask us questions about our technology and culture," Jisoo continued. "Why is this?" "We want to learn," Yuna said simply. "Humans are naturally curious. We have never met aliens before. Everything you can teach us is valuable. And you share information about your own activities very freely," Jisoo noted. "Of course," Yuna replied. "We have nothing to hide. The more you understand about us, the better you can guide us." After the aliens left, Yuna walked to her window and watched their shuttle fly back to the monitoring station. Then she sat down at her computer and began typing a report. The report was not for the aliens. It was for Earth's government. In it, she described everything the aliens had told her about their technology, their weaknesses, and their plans. Subject: continues to provide detailed information about Nexari scanning methods. She wrote, "They use quantum resonance to detect metal deposits but cannot see through our new polymer shields. Recommend increasing use of shielded containers for sensitive materials." Far above Earth on the monitoring station, Commander Jisoo was writing her own report. "Humans remain compliant and non-threatening," she wrote. "They show excessive curiosity but no signs of dangerous ambition. Their technology remains primitive. Recommend reducing monitoring frequency to save resources." Neither the aliens nor the humans realized that they were both gathering intelligence on each other. The difference was that the humans were much better. In a secret meeting room deep under the Pacific Ocean, human leaders gathered to discuss the monitoring situation. General Kong, the head of Earth Defense, looked at reports from around the solar system. The aliens have placed watchers near all our major facilities, he said. But they are only watching what we want them to see. How long can we keep this? Up? Asked Director Park from the Intelligence Division. As long as necessary, replied Admiral Chun, who had taken over from Captain Minho after the council meeting. The aliens expect us to act like a primitive species, so we act like a primitive species. But we are learning everything about them, General Kong added. Their technology, their military strength, their political divisions. Every day they watch us, we learn more about them. On Mars, human colonists continued their daily work under alien observation. The Corvan Empire had placed a monitoring post near the main human city there. Every day, Corvan observers watched humans mining, farming, and building. What the Corvans did not know was that the humans had built a second city on the other side of Mars. The city was hidden underground and shielded from alien sensors. In this hidden city, humans worked on projects that would have surprised their watchers very much. Engineer Tiemann led a team working on new ship designs. These ships looked exactly like the slow, simple vessels that the aliens expected humans to build. But inside, they had technology that would have impressed even the advanced alien races. The new engines are ready for testing, Tiemann reported to his supervisor. They will look like standard human fusion drives from the outside, but they are actually 3 times more powerful. Good, his supervisor replied. Remember, if the aliens ever scan these ships, they must appear completely normal. Back on the Nexari monitoring station, Lieutenant Kex was getting bored with his job. Commander, the humans never do anything interesting. They mine rocks, they grow food, they repair their ships. It is the same every day, Commander Jisoo understood his frustration. This is what watching a peaceful species looks like, Lieutenant. The humans are not warriors or explorers. They are farmers and miners who happen to learn space travel. Should we not be watching the more dangerous species instead? Kex asked. The council wants us here, Jisoo replied. Besides, it is an easy assignment. The humans cause no trouble. What Commander Jisoo did not know was that human scientists had been studying her monitoring equipment since the day it arrived. They had learned how it worked, what it could detect, and most importantly, what it could not detect. Dr. Min-Soo worked in a laboratory that appeared to be studying plant growth. In space, the alien monitors saw him growing vegetables and flowers under artificial lights. They thought this was exactly the kind of harmless research that primitive humans would do. In reality, Dr. Min-Soo was developing new materials that could not be detected by alien sensors. These materials would be used to build weapons, ships, and facilities that would be completely invisible to the watchers. Test number 47 is successful, he reported to his hidden communication device. The new composite appears as ordinary plastic to all known alien scanning methods, but it is actually stronger than their hull armor. As months passed, the aliens became more and more confident that humanity was under control. The humans seemed happy to be monitored. They answered all questions honestly. They followed all the rules that had been set for them. The Galactic Council began to see humanity as a success story. Here was a young species that had been properly guided into its place in the galactic community. They were proof that the Council's system worked. Admiral Wan received regular reports from all the monitoring stations. Every report said the same thing. Humans were behaving exactly as expected for a weak, controlled species. The human problem has been solved, he told his staff. During a meeting, they have accepted their place without any resistance. We can focus our attention on more important matters. But if Admiral Wan had looked more carefully at the reports, he might have noticed some strange patterns. Human mining operations often had small accidents that forced alien observers to leave temporarily. Human communication systems sometimes developed glitches that prevented aliens from listening to certain conversations. Human ships occasionally took slightly different routes than planned, always with good explanations about avoiding space debris or equipment problems. These incidents were so small and random that no single alien noticed them. But taken together, they gave humanity many opportunities to move materials, communicate secretly, and learn about alien technology without being observed. Though the Watchers thought they were in complete control of the situation, they believed they knew everything about human activities and capabilities. They had no idea that while they watched humanity, humanity was watching them back. And humans were much better students than their teachers realized. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stretched out like a metal canyon. 12 different alien races sat in their assigned sections, each group looking very different from the others. Some had blue skin and 6 arms. Others looked like giant insects with shining shells. A few resembled walking trees with glowing eyes. At the center of it all sat the council leader, a creature that looked like a floating jellyfish made of light. Its voice filled the room without making any sound that human ears could hear. "We gather today to discuss the humans," the council leader announced. "This new species has appeared in our galaxy. They travel between stars now. We must decide what to do with them." Admiral Juan stood up from the Corvan Empire section. He was tall and thin, with gray skin that looked like stone. His red eyes glowed as he spoke. "The humans are weak," he said. "Their ships are slow. Their weapons are simple. They have only one planet with life on it." Other aliens nodded in agreement. The Corvan Empire was one of the strongest groups in the galaxy. They had conquered many worlds. When Admiral Juan spoke, others listened. "But they have resources," Juan continued. "Their planet has metals we need. Their system has asteroids full of rare minerals. If we let them grow strong, they might become a problem later." In the observer section, Captain Minho sat quietly. He was the only human in the Great Hall. His small ship had brought him here to speak for Earth. He wore a simple blue uniform that looked plain next to the fancy clothes and armor of the aliens. Minho was not a big man. He had short black hair and calm brown eyes. He did not look like someone who could fight against giant alien empires. Most of the aliens had not even noticed he was there. "What does the human say about this?" asked Commander Zara from the Velshan Federation. She had purple skin and silver hair that moved like water. All eyes turned to Minho. He stood up slowly and walked to the speaking area in the center of the hall. His footsteps echoed in the huge space. "Honored council members," Minho said with a bow, "Earth wishes only to live in peace with all of you. We want to learn from your great civilizations. We hope to trade and share knowledge," Admiral Juan laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "See how they speak? They ask for nothing but friendship. This proves they are weak. The humans have built ships that can travel faster than light," said Counselor Nex from the Andraxian Collective. His body looked like living metal. "That shows some skill." "Basic technology," Juan replied. "We had faster ships 1,000 years ago. Their best ship is like a child's toy compared to ours." Minho listened to all of this without showing any emotion on his face. He did not argue or get angry. He just stood there calmly, waiting for his turn to speak again. "We must protect the younger species," said Elder Voth from the Celestial Assembly. She looked like a bird made of crystal, with wings that sparkled in the light. "It is our duty to guide them." "Guide them, yes," Juan agreed. "But also control them. We cannot let them take resources that belong to more advanced civilizations." The council leader's light grew brighter. "Let us vote on the restrictions." "Oh, in favor of limiting human space travel?" 8 hands, claws, and tentacles went up. Only 4 groups voted against the restrictions. All in favor of requiring human mining operations to share 50% of all resources with the council. 9 votes in favor this time. All in favor of placing monitoring stations in human space to watch their activities. 10 votes in favor. With each vote, the restrictions on humanity grew stronger. The aliens were treating Earth like a child that needed to be watched and controlled. Finally, the council leader turned to Minho. "Human representative, do you accept these terms?" Minho looked around the great hall. Hundreds of alien eyes stared at him. He could feel their expectation that he would complain or beg for better treatment. Instead, he simply nodded. "We understand your position," he said quietly. Earth will follow the Council's decision. Admiral Juan blinked his red eyes in surprise. That is it? No argument? No demands for fair treatment? We are new to this galaxy, Minho replied. You have much more experience than we do. If this is how things work here, we will adapt. The aliens looked at each other with confusion. They had expected the human to fight back, to demand better terms, to show some anger. Instead, he accepted everything with calm politeness. Very well, the council leader said. The restrictions are approved. Monitoring stations will be placed in human space within 30 days. All human mining operations must be reported to the council. Human ships may not travel beyond their assigned routes without permission. Minho bowed again. Thank you for explaining our new responsibilities. Earth will do its best to follow all rules. As the council session ended, aliens gathered in small groups to talk about what had just happened. Admiral Juan spoke with his officers. Did you see that? He asked them. The human accepted everything without question. They truly are a weak species. Perhaps they understand that resistance would be pointless, suggested his aide, Colonel Rax. No, Juan said, shaking his head. A strong species would at least try to negotiate. They would show some pride. The humans showed nothing but submission. Across the hall, Commander Zara talked with her own group. Something feels strange about this, she said. Why would they give up so easily? Maybe they know they cannot win, replied her second-in-command. Or maybe they are smarter than we think, Zara said quietly, but most aliens agreed with Admiral Juan. The humans had proven they were weak by accepting the harsh terms without any fight. It would be easy to control them. Minho walked back to his small ship alone. The other aliens did not try to talk to him. They saw him as unimportant now that the decision was made. As his ship left the council station, Minho spoke into his communication device. This is Captain Minho reporting to Earth Command. The council has voted for full restrictions as expected. All monitoring and resource sharing requirements approved. Understood, Captain, came the reply from Earth. Did they suspect anything? Minho looked back at the council station growing smaller behind him. No, they believe we are exactly what we appear to be. Good, Phase 1 is complete. Return home for Phase 2 briefing. On my way, Minho said. He settled back in his pilot's chair and smiled slightly. It was the first emotion he had shown all day. The aliens thought they had tamed humanity with their restrictions. They believed they had met a weak species that would bow to their superior strength. They had no idea that they had just given Earth exactly what it wanted most. Time to watch, learn, and prepare.